So with the Claws of Awaji DLC just releasing, Ubisoft has given us a proper meaty DLC for Assassin's Creed Shadows. We got more backstory for Naoe's mother, a whole new island to explore, and some of the most creative boss fights we've got in years. But if you know Ubisoft, you'll know that this DLC isn't going to be the last stop. These Assassin's Creed games, i.e. the RPG titles, usually get around 2 major DLCs, and the structure's always the same. The first one will focus on one of the protagonists, and the next somewhat shifts the spotlight, which means if Awaji was Naoe's story, then the next one's almost certainly Yasuke's. So today, let's do what we all do best and speculate wildly. We can connect the dots, spin some theories about where Yasuke's DLC could take us. Because while the obvious answer is somewhere else in Japan, I think there's a far juicier possibility, one that could pull him halfway across the world, which could be a lot of fun. So let's start off with the obvious, okay? Yasuke deserves this DLC. In Shadows, he's already one of the most unique protagonists Assassin's Creed has ever used. A foreign-born samurai tied to Oda Nobunaga's court, thrust into the Templar conflict, but the base game really only scratches the surface of that history. Awaji gave us Naoe's family history, her mother, her ties to the island, the puppet show origins, but Yasuke, his arc still feels open-ended. He's found his place in Japan, sure, but the Templars aren't done, and neither is he. A Yasuke-focused DLC could push him beyond being the heavy hitter to Naoe's stealth and actually flesh him out with his own emotional weight. And if you followed Ubisoft's DLC patterns before, this tracks perfectly. Valhalla gave Eivor expansions into Ireland and Paris. Origins gave Bayek mythological detours. Odyssey had whole spin-offs like Atlantis. Shadows giving Yasuke his own stage to maybe learn more about the Templars, to find their bases, to finally take them down and rid them of Japan. It's practically guaranteed. So here's the first theory. We stay in Japan. There's still so much left unexplored. Awaji gave us one island, but what about Kyoto, the beating heart of the Sengoku era, or Kyushu with its trade ports and influence from foreign powers? A Yasuke DLC could easily drop us into new Japanese regions packed with castles, villages, and different warlords, all under the reign of the Templars. Ubisoft already has the tools, climbing bodegas, storming fortresses, weaving through crowded markets. Dropping Yasuke into another part of Japan would expand the map and let the devs show off more of the country's diversity, and it fits mathematically too. Yasuke's story isn't just about fighting Templars, it's about finding himself and proving himself as a warrior in a land that isn't his birthplace. Throwing him into a new region with different factions and traditions would really underline that journey. And then there's this theory brought to me by the real Sephiroth on Twitter. Go drop in the follow. Really good at getting a bunch of information, and Assassin's Creed fan. Huge shout out to this. But they talk about the second DLC, how it could be set in Isa or Owari, in those sort of regions. The Ise region was Japan's spiritual heart, you know, home for the Grand Shrine. Pilgrims flocked there, filling with bustling markets, and the province also caught in Sengoku turmoil. It also fell under Oda Nobunaga's control, who we know Yasuke had a huge relationship with. So maybe if Yasuke were to go there, he might find out some more information about him and really expand upon that relationship. It'd be quite cool to see, and something I think would work in Assassin's Creed Shadows. But here's where things get interesting. What if Ubisoft didn't just keep it in Japan? Historically, Yasuke's story begins with the Portuguese. He arrived in Japan in the 16th century alongside the Jesuit missionaries, and if you've played any Assassin's Creed game, you know exactly how Ubisoft loves to twist this. Jesuits, missionaries, foreign traders, yeah, perfect Templar cover. So imagine a full-scale DLC where Yasuke travels back with them, back to Portugal, Lisbon's bustling streets, towering cathedrals, secret Templar strongholds hidden in the heart of Europe. Instead of sneaking through rice paddies, you're carving your way through Mediterranean fortresses, hunting down the European masterminds funding Japan's chaos. Ubisoft has done this before with other Assassin's Creed games. Valhalla gave us Paris and Ireland, so why not send Yasuke abroad? It would tie into his real-life history and mix it in with the Assassin's Creed story perfectly. And honestly, seeing Yasuke step onto European soil, hunting down the lead Portuguese Templars, pulling the strings behind the Sengoku conflict, that could be the boldest DLC this series has had in years, and it would be so cool to get a new, fresh take on an Assassin's Creed Templar story just with Yasuke. Plus, you know, if Naoe does join him, it would be cool to get a cityscape, i.e. Portugal, to free run and parkour around in. That'd be quite cool to see. Now, obviously, this wouldn't just be a gimmick. Just think about how much it could expand the themes. Yasuke isn't Japanese born, and his whole story is about identity, proving himself, earning respect, finding where he belongs. Sending him to Portugal throws that into sharp relief. Suddenly, he's not just a foreigner in Japan, he's a man confronting the culture that uprooted him in the first place. And narratively, it makes the Templars feel bigger. Too often in Assassin's Creed, the villains feel localized. Here you'd see the global web, European Templars manipulating Japan's chaos for profit and power, and Yasuke cutting through that network firsthand. Gameplay wise, it's a dream as mentioned previously. Lisbon's narrow streets for stealth, cathedrals and palaces for climbing, dockyards full of ships for infiltration. It gives Shadows a whole new visual identity while still tying directly into Yasuke's arc. I mean, just imagine the lighting and weather system in Portugal within those busy streets at night. It would work extremely well. And then let's not forget about Naoe. Of course, she'll be there for the ride, staying by Yasuke's side every step of the way, making sure she can do what she can to also help the fight against the Templars. And hey, who knows? Maybe we might meet some Portuguese assassins. We saw one whilst completing Yasuke's side activities, which should have been part of like the overall main story. Just saying. It'll be great to see that expanded upon as well. So here's where I land, okay? The next big DLC will almost definitely focus on Yasuke. At the very least, I think we'll see him travel to another Japanese region, somewhere new for players to explore. But if Ubisoft really want to blow the doors off, they'll send him to Portugal. It makes sense historically, it makes sense narratively, and it would finally show the global scope of the Assassin Templar War at a time where the series could honestly use a bold shakeup. But what do you guys think? Will Ubisoft play it safe and keep Yasuke's story in Japan, or will they go all in and ship him to Europe for a proper culture clash? Drop your ideas and theories down below, because if Awaji is anything to go by, the next DLC could be massive. So guys and girls, if you liked the video, a like would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe for some more Assassin's Creed content. Hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.